online fundraising. Today we're going to be looking at why you should be fundraising online, and then we're going to be looking at tips for effectively communicating your work online, segmenting your donor base, and asking supporters to fundraise for you. So the first question is, why should you be fundraising online? Well, 2.7 billion is now being donated online and by mobile annually in the UK, and that's over a quarter of all the donations made in the UK. It's also worth pointing out that the average online donation is double that of an offline donation, as people tend to be more generous online than they are offline. And the average online donation recently, 13% from last year to £78.59. And although the average donation on local giving is often £30, which is lower than that wider average, that's still a really high average number for donations online. It's also worth pointing out that online donations are not just for a younger generation. As you can see from this graph on the left-hand side, a wide variety of different age demographics donate online, and 40% of UK consumers said that online giving either is or will day one be their main way of donating to a cause. So let's have a look at some tips for effectively communicating your work. So the first thing is telling your story. So you've got to make sure that you have a clear and effective method to tell your story online with your fundraising. And the first way to do that is with the fairy tale method. So this is just a really simple way of splitting your story into 3 digestible sections. So the challenge, the hero, resolution. So the challenge is whatever your charity has been set up for. The hero is your charity, but more specifically the activities and programs that your charity undertakes. And the resolution is the effect, the positive effect that that's had on the community. So I've got an example here from the St. Matthew's Project, which is a group that uses local giving. So for them, the challenge was starting gang culture in their local area. And the hero was free structured football and coaching sessions in a safe and friendly environment for people between the ages of 6 and 21. And the resolution was over 1,000 hours of free, fun football activities per year for young people from disadvantaged backgrounds. They also go on to say that 90% of participants have expressed a positive impact on their lives, with 60% going on to receive new skills and qualifications because of it. So this is a really simple way of you understanding why the organization has been set up, what they do, and what the positive resolution is for their community. It's also worth pointing out that they have been really good at evidencing their impact. So they've put some statistics there that are really important to get a clear picture for your donors and supporters about what your organization has been able to achieve. So you need to ask yourself, how much funding have you raised in the past, and what have you done with that funding, and what are the results for this, the people that you help, because you always need to bring it back to the beneficiaries. So let's take an example of some good evidencing of impact. So an example of what not to do is this first example. So last year, donations went towards upgrading our minibus so that we could assist disabled people in the area. Now that does explain what happened, but there isn't a very clear picture there for your donors to understand exactly what the money went towards. It's quite vague, and it's not a very appealing message for your donors and supporters. So instead, the bottom example, in 2014, we were able to raise a total of £2,500 through individual donations and fundraisers. The money enabled us to upgrade our minibus with features to enable wheelchair users to easily access the bus. So that's a crucial point there. You've actually explained exactly what upgrades have been made. Then go on to say, this resulted in a 20% increase in the number of people we were able to, meaning that an additional 30 people have been assisted in getting from their homes to the local community centre over the past 6 months. Now that creates a really clear picture for how many beneficiaries the organisation have been able to help, and will make it much more appealing for people wanting to give donations on. It's also worth thinking about case studies. It's a story that can build a compelling picture of how your organisation has helped an individual or a group of people in the community, and quotes and testimonials can help to bring a story to life and engage potential supporters on a more human level. Now, if your organization is with vulnerable people and you may not be able to use your beneficiaries as a case study, think about trustees or volunteers that can case study for why they are involved in your organization and the benefits that you have on the community. It's definitely worth thinking about how you can create a connection, explain your personal motivation for being involved and what your aha moment was. What was the catalyst that got you involved in the organization? You need to remember that obviously you are involved in your organization every day and you understand the great work that you do, but this is for engaging new supporters online who may not know anything about your cause, and so you can explain to them on a personal level what it was that got you involved. And once you've done all of these, make sure you have a clear call to action. We have a lot of groups on our platform who are really good at telling their story, but what they may forget to do is at the end of that is to give the supporter or the donor something that they need to do in actual actions, whether that be fundraise for us or donate to us, or even a more low-level commitment like share this with your friends. It's also worth briefly thinking about different social media platforms. Through Local Giving, there are easy share tools, so you can share your page on Facebook, Twitter. So just think about what those different platforms are for and why those might work for your organization. So Facebook is for with friends and existing supporters and expanding that circle to friends of friends. Whereas LinkedIn would be best if you're contacting local businesses, say. And Twitter will be best for getting news out quickly and being associated with a trend. So if there's something happening in the news currently that's related to your cause or something in the local press, Twitter might be the best way to disseminate that information. It's also worth paying attention to interest indicators on social media. So these are just any indicators of someone who has liked or shown interest in something that you've posted. So on Twitter, look out for people who favorited your tweets or retweeted, or look out for some similar hashtags that might be related to your cause or tweets. And those are people that you may be able to engage with on a further level. Similarly on Facebook, have a look at people who liked your page or are involved in groups that are similar to your cause. It's also worth thinking about how you thank your donor supporters. So make sure you always reference the gift that they do and always talk about what difference it's made to the beneficiaries. That's why the people have donated, so they want to hear how that's helped. Make sure you tailor the message appropriately and sign it off appropriately as well. The next thing to think about is segmenting your donor base. So by this we mean thinking about who your donors are and then the best way to contact them. So the way you think about this is personas. Who are your supporters outside of people who give to your charity? So what do they do in their day-to-day lives, and what can you glean from that can help you to contact them in an appropriate way? So think about what they're interested in and what makes them tick. So what is their age and their location, their hobbies and their interests, their habits or their motivations, their level of engagement with your charity. Think about the income of your supporters, how much can they spare, and what rewards can you give them. This doesn't have to be physical rewards, it could just be more information about your organization, it could be a newsletter. So just think about what things you feel your donors might want to get in return for their donation. And this is a good way to split it up into these 4 boxes. So on the top left-hand side, we have basic facts and behaviors. So the basic factors would be, what their age are, the age of the donors. If they often tend to have families, the people who donate to you. For example, if you work for an organization that deals with children, your donors are more likely to be parents. What's their relationship with your charity? Have they donated before? Are they aware of who you are? And what are their motivations, needs, and goals? So, what do they do outside of your charity? What are the key things that their goals are in their day-to-day lives? And from this, you can try and get some fundraising ideas. So, for example, if one of their goals is that they're into their exercise and getting fit, then trying to get them to through sporting activity might be best. If you know they're more interested in social events, then that might be the focus for your fundraising idea. So think about the levels of interest, the levels of understanding they have about your charity, how much have they donated, and what is your target, how do those two things relate? And from there, you can get a good idea of how often you should communicate with them and through which methods. So are you going to send them a quarterly newsletter? Are they going to get more regular updates from that? Maybe you just want to send them something once a year when you have a new appeal running. So this graph here, this image gives you a good idea of the different kinds of donors. So on the left-hand side, you have someone who's just put some money in a bucket. They might not know a lot about your organization. From there, someone who's had the idea to look into your organization a bit more. And then there's someone who's actually chosen to go online and donate. And then on the far right-hand side, someone who's actually chosen to fundraise for you by doing a challenge or running an event. So here's from the left to the right, people who are the most engaged in your charity, and obviously the people on the right-hand side you want to engage with in a different way from the people on the left. You can also think in this way, splitting it into 3 different kinds of donors. So new donors, repeat donors, and upgrade donors. So new donors are people who haven't donated before, obviously. Repeat donors, people who might have set up a monthly direct debit, or you know they've donated in the past. And upgrade donors are people who you think have paid enough attention to your charity in the past that you may now be able to ask them for a monthly donation if they're only donating once off before. Or maybe ask them to fundraise if they've been making a monthly donation. So when asking your supporters to fundraise for you, this is a really crucial thing for small charities specifically. Getting someone who's able to fundraise for you will really cut down on the time and the admin that you need. On Local Giving, we found that each fundraiser brought an average of 6 new donors to the charity and raised £520. So where can you find fundraisers? So you should first of all try emailing your current donors and supporters and trying to get them interested in fundraising for you. Again, if you use the methods that we spoke about in the segmenting your donor base, you might have a better understanding of who your donors are and the best way to engage with them. You can also find them online. Think about the interest indicators that were mentioned earlier in the webinar. And then think about asking within your local community and local businesses. So when engaging with your community, there's 4 main areas you can focus on: local businesses, sports clubs, schools, and community groups. These are all really great groups to focus on because as they are a group, they can create a team fundraiser. Team fundraisers are normally the most lucrative way of going. Obviously, they have a wider network of friends and family, and also there's a competitive element there for them to be able to create a team fundraiser together. It's also worth having a few ideas up your sleeve about different fundraisers people could do. Obviously, you don't want it to be a blocker that the people that your fundraisers are keen to fundraise for you, but they don't know what activity they should undertake. Also think about the best ways to promote your fundraising page. So once you do have someone fundraising for you, add the URL or web address to your website or email signature and promote it on social media. Publicly celebrate the milestones of your fundraisers on social media and also personally celebrate this via email with them. It's all about creating a personal connection with your fundraiser so that they'll be willing to fundraise for you again and they've had a good experience and can express that to their friends and family. And when we talk about milestones, this could be anything from their first donation or them being a quarter away or halfway through their fundraising target. I also just want to now show you some ideas of some different fundraising pages that we've had on Local Giving. So some of the fundraising pages might not be very serious. They may be friends getting their friends to do dares. Especially if your donor base might be slightly younger, that might be a good way to get them to start fundraising. Also, certain fundraisers can be from beneficiaries, so people who in the past have been able to make use of your charity and benefit from the good work that you do. Those are really to try and contact to fundraise for you. Or if not them, then it can be relatives of fundraisers as well, relatives of beneficiaries. Also, it's worth thinking about any anniversaries that maybe this is a fundraiser that a heritage site managed to find 2 people who were getting married in that venue, and they used their wedding gifts as a fundraiser so people could raise money for a new stained glass window. So think about any weddings or birthdays for your regular supporters that you could ask them to fundraise for, or if it's an anniversary for your charity, maybe you may have been running for a year or 10 years. So we're now going to take some questions, and if you are listening to the recorded version of this webinar, please feel free to contact us on 0300 111 2340 or email us on help@localgiving.org with any questions that you may have.